What's up, guys? Listen, I'm gonna talk about this real quick. Karen Huger really pissed me off, and she might have pissed me off even more than she pissed Wendy off. I get it. She did not thank Wendy. She did not have Wendy in her list of people that she wanted to shout out when she did her video to share her appreciation to the few that she wanted to share her appreciation to, and to let people know that she was going into a treatment facility for antidepressants and alcohol. And I want to, say that while I am fine with her going into treatment, and I definitely believe she needs that, I still don't believe that she took accountability because one, when they asked her, does she feel like she has a problem with alcohol? She said no. Girl, you're an alcoholic. And the people, even though they may not have been favorites, a lot of people didn't really care for them. If they had to pick a side, they were always going to pick Karen over Sharice. But it doesn't look like Sharice lied, or even Robin Dixon. And I don't care for her either. But they have been saying for a while that Karen definitely has a drinking problem. And while that's not something to tease someone about, of course not. Alcohol addiction and any type of addiction, really, but especially alcohol, it's real, and two, it's one of the most dangerous in actuality. I've talked about this before. I actually talked about this a lot more on my other YouTube channel. If you want to find out what my other YouTube channel was, I have the link in the description box. But I've talked about alcohol before. While I have never had a problem with alcohol, I know people that have, and alcohol addiction is one of the worst. It's a drug. This is plain and simple. Alcohol is a drug, but it's one of the worst because one, it's legal, and it's one that it's so readily available. You constantly hear people talking about, I need a drink. I need a drink. I got to have a drink. Let's go out for drinks, happy hour, blah, 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 blah. People go to the bottle, both so they would go to God and, or, some higher power that's not going to just make them feel like they're out of themselves for the moment. And then when they come out of the drunken stupor, your problems are still there and are actually worse because you're not doing anything about the problem. I'm about solutions versus substances. So I'm not saying that I'm better than anybody, but I'm really thankful that I feel like that's something that God just really gifted me with, that power of resiliency. Not saying I'm the strongest person in the world, but I've never been one of those people that when I have issues, I felt like I needed to turn to a substance to take me out of it. No, I'm looking for a solution because I want to get out of the problem. I don't want to just use something to try to make me feel better for the moment. And then when I come out of it, the issues are still there. And unfortunately, a lot of people, they don't have that type of strength. They don't have that mindset. And then you become someone like Karen, where you're in your 60s, still going to substances versus looking for solutions to the problem. So again, I'm not saying these things to be beating down on Karen, but I was absolutely disappointed when she was asked that question and she said, no, I don't have a problem with alcohol. Well, what the hell are you going into rehab for? You're not going into rehab because you're having a problem with antidepressants. Actually, alcohol is a depressant. You're going into treatment because you are addicted to a depressant, not taking antidepressants. And girl, if you're taking antidepressants and drinking alcohol, you are lucky to be alive. And 100% lucky to be alive after being in that terrible accident, and that she did not take anyone else's life. And that's why I don't have any type of sympathy for her. Yeah, I could give her grace and want her to be better and do better 100%. 100%. But that doesn't mean that she does not deserve to have consequences for her actions. She was found guilty, and I really hope, because this is not her first offense with a DUI, that she gets what she deserves. Now, I'm not the one to say what that punishment should be, but it definitely should not be a slap on the wrist. But for her to sit there and say that she does not have a problem with alcohol, and then to say to the people that she claims that follow her, or the younger people, to say, do as I say, not as I do. Did you hear when she said that? That's some BS. I was like, wow, that's one of the worst things. That's like one of the things that a parent who takes absolutely zero responsibility for their actions, and they know that they have a child or children that they're responsible for, but they don't want to take responsibility. So it's like, okay, I'm the mama, you're the child, or you're the children. You do what I tell you to do. I don't care if you see me being a whore. You're not to go out there and be sleeping with anybody. I don't care if I tell you that you're not supposed to be doing drugs, even though you see me doing drugs and I tell you, say no to drugs. You listen to what I say, but don't follow what I'm doing. That's ridiculous. And not that we need to see it, but I'm just going to share my screen because as I talk about it, I just really want it to be in not just my face, but our face, because she needs to be reminded of this. Like, this is Karen. This is your brain on drugs. Alcohol is a drug. And girl, for you to sit there, look at this tree that she hit. Look at the lines. Well, shoot, that's the TMZ, but look at the lines in the grass and the tree that she hit. Look at her in the police car. And she was talking about, this isn't going to touch me. Do you know who I am? This isn't going to touch me. She was, like she said, lit. She was more than lit. She was not taking any accountability. And then the fact that they had her in the front seat, like they didn't put her in the back seat of the cop car. I don't know what that was about. But I mean, look at her.
Okay.
I'm Karen.
Montgomery County Police.
I would rather.
I don't like her.
Okay. I'd rather
It's
her
okay.
not do a lot of talking at this point,
Would you
anyhow,
like to do
because
that?
she's probably a little bit upset
Well, I'm
after
shook.
the
I'm shook.
thing. So she's.
Can I ask you where you're coming
yourself.
from tonight? Ma'am.
She said she was coming from a friend's house.
Okay. Which way were you driving on Oakland?
Rehab.
You had to
Were you
come.
coming from Bradley?
You have it?
I'll take a look.
Yes.
You're coming from Bradley?
Or wait. Wait, you see it? Yes. Thank you.
You were driving on Bradley or from Bradley? Do you remember the accident?
Yes.
Okay. What happened?
Actually, nothing really.
Nothing really. But this is a tree that she hit. It's absolutely insane. So for her to sit and do that video, all prim and proper and prepared, face made up, hair done, talking about she's not an alcoholic, she's a liar. She's in denial. She's not taking accountability. And we're going to find out what the sentence is, but you know, she's still in this space of feeling entitled. She did not thank Wendy, and she was never a friend to Wendy. And hey, it could be vice versa. I'm not here to sit and say that Wendy's perfect and that Wendy really, 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 really liked Karen either. I feel like they both were kind of, you know, using the so-called friendship for the sake of the show. I wouldn't say that she saw her as a real friend either, but I do feel that Wendy was very, very friendly towards Karen and was looking out for her. So Karen really showed her ass, you know, to kiss. Like, I don't really care about you. So I do feel that Wendy felt slighted. And hey, these so-called friendships on reality TV, listen, there's only a certain type of person that can really do this type of stuff. So I don't even really have a whole lot to say about that stuff, because for the most part, a lot of it is fake. Even though I watch some of the crap and I talk about some of it, for the most part, it's crap. I mean, there's a reality show that films in the town that I'm from in Charleston, and I never talk about it, but it's like some of the fakest people in the world. And even though I don't know any of them personally, one of the chicks that's on the show, I don't even know like who she had to screw and suck to get on a reality show. And I'm just being honest about that. But I digress. I wouldn't be surprised if it was more than a few people, and I'm going to leave it at that. But yeah, it's the reality TV friendships leaves a lot to be desired. But Karen taking absolutely zero accountability for her alcohol addiction, yeah, she definitely went into rehab to hopefully soften the sentencing that she will receive, but it wasn't because she felt like she needed the help, because if she did, then she would have went into rehab even possibly before the trial, or maybe even right after the accident, if she really felt like she needed help. So I don't buy it. And that's actually the worst thing to do, because until someone actually feels like they have a problem, them going into rehab is really a waste of time and money. It is. And I don't see, I'm not saying that Karen can't have some improvements over time, but I don't see this being it, because we saw it throughout the season. She was like, yeah, I'm going to drink if I want to. I'm just not going to drink around these ladies. She never admitted to having a problem. And even in that moment, she still would not admit it. So that's who she is. The grand denier. She is thinking that she's high and mighty and above everyone else. So it would be beneath her to admit that she really has a problem with alcohol. It would be unbecoming of a lady of elegance, or whatever the hell she thinks she is. Child, please, with that raggedy wig that she had on in, those videos, like, that's, in my personal opinion, who she really is. But for the cameras and for the show, for the lights, for the flash and all of that, then she's this glamorous woman. But underneath it all, that person that was in that cop car, that person that said that she is Thomas Jefferson's concubine, that person that said that Andy Cohen gave her that name, the Grand Dame, and she doesn't know what the F it is. That person, that's who she really is. Seriously. And I'm not saying these things to bash her. I'm just saying I see it for what it really is. So for the people who are just like coddling her, she is a grown damn woman. She has adult children. She is not a baby. She is not a child. She definitely is not a child. And she is telling people, do as I say, not as I do. That's terrible. And it just shows who she really is. And so it's possible for her to make improvements and adjustments, and we'll see what happens. I'm rooting for her. I don't wish for anyone to be in a state of sloppy drunkenness for all of their days, but it honestly is just the reality. Once most people get to a certain age, they just kind of settle in their ways of being who they are, and they're not going to try to change who they are for anyone. So I don't really see her changing who she is. She'll probably just try to curb it around certain people, and definitely during the times of filming. But any other time, it's Miller time. Okay. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about that, guys. I want to know what you think. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for being here, liking, and subscribing. I'm Beth, just being beautifully honest. So until next time, I wanted to keep it brief, beautiful. And now I'm going to say bye.